May 7th. Hope you guys are having a great month. I don't know if you're winding down or if you're getting geared up for the summer. How you doing, Lara?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Oh, it's really good to have you back. We've missed you for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back.
And we have a very, very special guest today.
Yep.
I am so excited to introduce Pat Rolleston, who's joining us today. Hi, Pat.
Hello. Thank you.
You are legendary.
Yep.
Legendary, brother. Not just because of your outstanding facial hair, which is impressive.
Thanks. That's what I want to be known for, by the way.
Listen, not everybody can grow a beard.
Mm-mm.
That is true.
Not everybody can be bald headed. It's not pretty. Some people, and that's the worst one. No, if you can't be bald headed and you don't know till you're bald headed. That's the problem. You don't know you can't go bald until you shave it all off. Then you find out what a nightmare is happening underneath there, and then you got a problem. Now you got to wait.
I hope I'm not going to find out about that.
Well, I didn't have a choice, so I like that. But oh man, Lara, are you guys still doing youth group?
We are.
Yeah.
We have next week is our last week, and then we're off for 2 weeks, and then we are ramping back up June 3rd. So it's a busy summer. You know, I think for a lot of us, it's like we don't slow down in the summer.
Well, no, of course not. Yeah.
When students are out, that's when we go.
Any fun stories from last night? Any mishaps, goofy bloopers?
No.
Funny comments?
No, surprisingly, no funny comments, but we had small groups last night, and we have it we have it once a month, and we have this volunteer who she's in her 80s. I think I've mentioned her before on the podcast.
That's awesome.
But and the students love her. She loves the students, but she is so funny. And so I think like last night, just hearing her interact with students, I always just get a chuckle because she's just so funny. Just the way she says things. So nothing that was like outstanding, but yeah, I love that volunteer so much. And to see the impact that she has on students and vice versa, the impact they have on her.
When I was in youth group, when I was in high school, we had a volunteer that was in her 80s.
Yeah.
And we called her Aunt Gertrude. Gertrude was her name. We called her Aunt Gertrude, but she really was everybody's grandma. And she had the funniest effect on our youth group, which was kind of unruly.
Yeah.
In some respects. It was a small youth group. I wasn't churched at all. So I'm there and I'm a maniac. And which is why I've been sentenced, I think, to a lifetime of youth ministry. I think I'm paying for a lot of the things that I did.
Yeah.
But she was like this built-in regulator. Because like if you wouldn't, she'd make you blush because you wouldn't, like, you don't want to be crass in front of your grandma. That's basically.
Yep.
I'm like, that's genius.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like saying, is this what you want to be doing when Jesus comes back without having to say it?
Yeah.
She was the embodiment of that.
Yeah. It was so funny. We were talking about going to camp, and she was the first adult she was like, I can do it. I can go to camp with you guys. I said, it's a tiring week. I mean, you're more than welcome to, but she jumps all in. And
wait, has she done camp before or no? This would be the first.
And she probably won't go, but I just thought it was so sweet that she would jump in. You know, have you seen it's probably not a trend anymore because you know how trends go. It's like they're here one day.
It's a trend. Yeah.
It's a trend. Yeah. You know, but it's the trend where they have like 4 drinks and they're in a box and the person who has to guess what the
yeah.
Okay, you've seen it. So we did that for our middle school retreat a couple of weeks ago. And she was like the first one to like volunteer and do it. I'm like, yes, let's go. And so the students just loved it. But it just goes to show just having that generational impact is so important.
There is something about the games at retreats, though. The last one you and I did together, Lara.
Yeah.
We played some sort of game. I don't remember what it was, like a leader game.
Yep.
And it involved like cups on a table, and we're on stage and we're walking around. It's like an elimination game.
Yep.
I don't know what happened to me, but I had to win that game.
Oh yeah. Because one of my volunteers was, I think
it came down to, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And it got intense. Like I
dove several times on the stage and destroyed the cup that I landed on. I'm 250 pounds. I am not a small person. And I am not tough anymore. Like that, I paid for that dearly after the fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, there's something about like, I don't know. It's like you lose all reason when it's like on stage in front of everybody. No, I have to win.
That's
I've got
so
to
true.
do it. What about you, Pat? Have you guys are you guys still going on right now, or have you broke yet?
Yeah. Well, a break for Mother's Day. We take a nice break for Mother's Day.
Nice.
This weekend. So,
because you want to live and you like being married,
if possible.
Yeah.
And I'm being married. That's I want that to continue. Yeah. Yeah.
And so Pat, before I get into how long you've been married, let's actually introduce you, right? So you are the youth director at New City Fellowship in Chattanooga. Or are you ordained? Are you youth pastor or youth director?
I'm a director, I think. I don't know what I am. I'm more of these days a pastor for families, children, and youth. And so I'm involved with pretty much everything that's going on in those ministries, including some outreach and our after school tutoring program and some things like that. So,
and how long have
you, the ages from birth to adolescence?
How long have you been at New City?
I've been at New City for let's see here, since 1990, so 37 years, 36 years. I always promote myself a year. I don't know why. 36 years. Working on 37.
But how long were you on staff? Have you been on staff at?
I've been on staff for, I think this is 8 years.
Right. And so, but how long have you been in Chattanooga?
Well, I've always lived in Chattanooga. I had a brief year and a half, almost 2 years in Atlanta, looking for work down there in the early 80s. And then I did a year in Missouri in Teen Challenge. I did time in Missouri.
Yeah.
That's how everyone looked at it. It was better than jail, but it was definitely it was time. It was good. This was therapeutic. It was good for us.
I think that's what it says on their license plate, right? Like Missouri better than jail. I think that's their statement. It
is better. But this was where I'm supposed to say quite a bit better, much better than jail.
I have a strong mental disorder where people say things and all I can hear is lines from movies and TV shows. And you're making me think of the Office episode with Prison Mike, where they find out that they've hired an ex-con and they're asking him about prison, and he makes the way he describes prison, they think it's better than the office that they work in. And they're like, you get outside time? We never get to go outside. That's funny. But so Tell us a little bit, like, walk us through, like, you grew up in Chattanooga, you've been there most of your life. How did you come to faith? How did you get into youth ministry? Walk us through that time period of going to those different places. What did that look like?
Well, I had I think I had a pretty unusual upbringing. I don't know how. I think it's pretty unusual, I guess. But my dad, pretty dysfunctional home initially. My dad was an alcoholic and could be pretty violent, and so a lot of turmoil there. And it didn't take. I think when I was maybe 6 or 7, my dad left, and then I think I was pretty depressed. I was getting in trouble at school, and ended up getting in a fist fight with the principal at Missionary Ridge Elementary. And my mom had me signed over to the state, and I was in an experiment at out at Moccasin Bend at the state hospital out there. It was a program developed by Vanderbilt University in conjunction with the state, and it was an experiment. And I think if you think, have you watched what is that? Stranger Things?
Oh yeah,
What is that show? I watched it because my grandchildren were watching it. I don't think it's a great show for 8 and 9-year-olds. I don't know why their parents allowed them to do this.
Yeah.
All the other kids are watching it, right? But the feel of that kind of hospital setting that they were in, and the one I was in, nobody was wearing those hospital gowns or floating in sensory deprivation tanks, but they did use sensory deprivation and social isolation to shape behavior. And there were some, I think, good things about that, but some things that sort of left me feeling like I might never fit into society anywhere. And when I that Stranger Things show gave me flashbacks just a little bit, man.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Because the look and feel of that institutional setting, they captured the 70s quite well. I think it was supposed to be the 80s, but they captured the look and feel of that place that I was in for a year when I was 8 years old. Got out and went up on Lookout Mountain and moved in with my grandparents when my mom left, and they went to Lookout Mountain Presbyterian Church, and so I did too until I was too big to compel, which didn't take too long. But I was pretty interested at first. That was my first encounter with youth ministry as a middle school student. I joined the church and started going to youth group there. And I don't remember who this guy was, but he took me around the corner one Sunday evening and said, "We'd rather not have your kind around kids."
No.
And I just, I could not, I just couldn't weather that. I couldn't, I think I was just developmentally in middle school at 11, not at a place to assess this person's ability to make good judgments about other people, and certainly wasn't able to assess his ability to understand the gospel and apply it to me. And so I thought, if I'm that bad, I might as well just go on. And, so I spent a bunch of years after that, not in church and doing the stuff people did in the 70s, partying and using drugs and drinking.
That was really unique to the 70s. Nobody does that anymore.
Nobody does it anymore. Well, we felt like we were inventing it. We were working hard to invent something, let me say.
Yeah.
And, So anyway, a bunch of years go by, and had a pretty terrible marriage that ended not too long after it got started, and which was pretty disastrous for me. And in 1987, I finally I was 27 years old, finally hit rock bottom, I think. And the way I got saved was I shut myself up in a room at my grandparents' house. I'd gone back to their now not empty nest, and I just shut myself up in there and read. I read the Bible, and I got to Psalm 68:6, which says, "The Lord leads forth the prisoners with singing. He sets the lonely in families, but the rebellious live in a sun-scorched land." And I just knew that God was in the room, and that He was there for me, and that He had a plan for my life, and that the word was for me, and that, you know, uh, somehow for the first time, I think in my life, had the feeling that everything was going to be okay somehow.
Wow.
That has not translated to everything is going to be easy and work out as you want it to, but and I went back to Lookout Press. Turns out in the uh, late 70s, early 80s, the session and a bunch of other people at Lookout Press got saved at a lay renewal weekend. And it was a very different place when I went back there. And people accepted me and cared for me and helped me. Sandy Wilson was the pastor at that time. He's like, I know what you need to do. You need to go to Teen Challenge, which was kind of a new thing in Chattanooga then, anyway. And I would not hear that. He told me it was that it would last a month or two, but actually they said this is several months. Later I found out 15 months. I was like, man, I can't do that. I got a life. I can't be locked up for that long. But finally, God convinced me that that was what I needed to do. So I spent 15 months, 5 of it here in Chattanooga at the Teen Challenge Home Center, and then 10 months in Missouri in Cape Girardeau at
Patrick,
the training center.
I have a little bit of experience with Teen Challenge, but for anybody that might not know what that is, could you explain what that was?
It's a discipleship program for ex-offenders and drug addicts, anybody with any kind of a serious life controlling problem. It is not a rehab, and you're not allowed to talk about using drugs. No war stories. No. There wasn't a lot of psychoanalysis either. Basically you work and study the Bible and go to church and take classes and have people who are supervising you, but are also deeply involved in your life, even if that means getting in your face, which occasionally we need, it turns out, and especially the more hard-headed of us. But it really was in a lot of ways kind of like being reparented, I think, starting over, and learning to, I don't know if be normal is the right, I don't know if they accomplished that with me, but helped me to apply the word and apply wisdom to my life and develop some good habits and draw close to the Lord. And so, yeah, got out of there, went to Covenant College, and in my second semester, I got invited by some people at New City Fellowship to get involved with the youth group there. And I got a sort of a simultaneous invitation from Barry Henning, who came to Sunday school up at Lookout Pres, to get involved in Jack Miller's sonship course down at New City. So I'd started going before Sunday school to meet with this small group that was going through sonship together. And it was too early for everyone but me and the guy leading it, Scott Collier.
Oh, yeah.
Who was a good friend for a long time until he passed away. Wonderful person. I would bring my kids down, my boys, and his sons would hang out with them while we were watching the videos and talking about sonship. So it's a pretty wonderful thing for Scott to do for me. And I got that invitation to start working with the youth group. And that's kind of when my transition to New City happened. In 1990, I started going to church there as well. Really loved the people at Lookout Pres who had been so kind to me and taken such good care of me and helped me so much. It really was a call to ministry for me to New City. That's how I ended up there. I think they thought they were getting into some kids who were a little rough around the edges, and they thought since I had been rough around the edges, I would know how to help them not be rough around the edges. I'm not sure if that was really true, but I guess I was able to relate.
So we were in the same area around the same time. I came in the late 90s and went to Covenant and went to Lookout. Did you ever interact with Len Teague?
Yeah, I interacted with Len Teague first in Young Life, which we ended up at New City. We ended up, the youth pastor Warren Caterson entered into a church partnership. He was a half-time youth pastor, other half, or maybe 2/3, a painter and a paper hanger. And he was looking to be in full-time ministry. So he entered into this church partnership, and I followed Warren, and that's how I met Lynn. And so I did. I ended up being tapped to be the urban area director after Warren left, and ended up doing almost 25 years in Young Life.
All in Chattanooga.
All in Chattanooga. Not only in the neighborhood around the church, but for sure in the neighborhood around the church and some other places as well. So
it's just incredible to me. Like so one of the things I love about you, Pat, was our very first conversation happened at the very first PCA NextGen conference. And I have to confess something to you. I was intimidated by you.
I don't know why.
I just looked at you and I was like, I hope we're doing a good enough job for this guy. Like you took all this time to come here. It was our first conference. We're all kind of nervous. And I'm like, man, and I was a little intimidated, but I don't know why. But I walked up to you and we hit it off right out of the gate. And I was like, I walked out of that conversation. I was like, I have a new friend for life. And we talked about anything and there was so many things that we had in common, even spilling the same blood in the same mud a little bit. And so the same people, and getting to hear your heart and your passion for youth ministry, like just stoked, even stoked mine. It's like, flame begets flame. And it was such an incredible blessing to me to have that interaction. It's actually the highlight of that particular conference, from other than the fact that we pulled it off and nobody died. which is kind of not a high bar, but it's a bar.
It was good for me too, and especially the not dying part was a relief.
But so you have this long career in a very difficult. I mean, I've had lots of work. I've done lots of proximity with Young Life and had great partnerships in different cities that I've worked in with Young Life. But it's a hard road to hoe. There's a fundraising element to it that you don't have to deal with when you're on church staff, or usually when you're on church staff. You are, if the church is like an aircraft carrier, parachurch ministries work when they're really working well, are almost like the special forces unit that go off the aircraft carrier, that are on the ground and in environments that it's harder to get to sometimes for the bigger organizations. And then when did you transition to staff at there was like 8 or 9 years ago?
Yeah, I think it's been 8 years. And I had for maybe 4 or 5 years had done a bunch of sort of church partnership things. So we were having Young Life Club in local churches at New City, also at Church of the Firstborn, which is predominantly African-American church over on the south side. East Ridge Presbyterian was another place that we were at. And because I had been doing it long enough to see that it was very hard for kids who had grown up during their whole middle school and high school careers, they'd grown up in Young Life. It was very hard for them to make the transition into a church after high school.
Yeah.
There's all kind of reasons that unfamiliar with church culture, often entering into a different socioeconomic level when you go into a church. And I think just all kind of issues like that. So trying to figure out how to help people become part of the kingdom. How do we help kids to be a part of the main thing that God has, that Jesus has left us as the embodiment of the coming kingdom before he returns and it all comes to fruition. I probably had been thinking about that. How do you enter into the mainstream of something from the time I was pretty young?
Yeah.
Felt
you were being shaped in that way and given that struggle your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
It just in society as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And and that the struggle to do the partnerships, and I got to be honest, man, we overwhelmed some places with bringing hundreds of kids in who were just wild and wonderful, but it our first club at East Ridge Presbyterian, we lost count at 100. Like,
wow.
And all of these young people brand new to any kind of environment like that for the most part. And it overwhelmed the church. And I think there was a part of me that decided we have to do this work inside churches. Not naysaying Young Life, but somehow there needs to be a sort of a hybrid thing where we are doing this evangelism and outreach at the same time that we're raising covenant children and discipling them. Somehow this has to work together. So New City is a place that's been trying to do that very thing since its inception, and a spot opened up, and I feel in a lot of ways I had to have Young Life pried out of my hands. It was a hard 3 or 4 year process for me to let go of that. I think in some ways my job was my identity at that time. I think that's part of why it was so difficult. But anyway, God finally prevailed. a pretty long history of being very stubborn and hard to deal with. And I'm thankful that God is patient and also unrelenting in pursuing us and bringing about transformation. But as an elder, I was on the search committee for a youth pastor, and we were interviewing people and not finding anybody.
Like, no. All right.
And I started feeling like maybe this was something that God was asking me to do. So I met with Billy McKillop, and I said, Billy, maybe this is crazy.
I love Billy.
Yeah, he's a great guy, man. Thankful to have him for a boss and a friend. Like, Billy, man, I have no idea if you guys would even want me, but I think I would be willing to do this job. And he was like, oh, Pat, man, we want you. It was one of the most confirming conversations I've ever had in my life, honestly. And so I started to work there, and you learn in NextGen it takes about 5 years to get back to normal when you get a new youth pastor, and so far the pandemic hit at about year 2.5.
Yeah, you're just getting your stride. Yeah.
So I don't think we've ever gotten to whatever normal is.
Man.
Through all of that upheaval that occurred over the last few years.
This is just a minor reflection on COVID, but like I was well established at my church when COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we had a strong identity. Like, we knew what we were about. We were clear. But how are we going to do it in this context so that was good, because that was the only question we had. Some people didn't know who they were or what their ministry was about, and they were forced to answer that question in COVID. But like, one of the many things I walked away feeling, every 6 months, it felt like I felt like I was a complete newbie again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I knew nothing. Like, and every 6 months, it was like the picture would, like the goalpost would move.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm back to square one again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird like that.
Yeah.
And I think, in John 15, where Jesus talks about being part of the vine, and, you don't produce fruit if you're not pruned back. I believe that's what we were all experiencing. Mm-hmm. And it forced innovation and change.
Yes.
And I think we're still dealing with the change that has occurred in our ministry, but also even more so in the world around us and in the world of kids. But I think it led to some innovation, which seemed almost accidental, but I think was probably God ordained. For instance, kids getting more involved with the service, with the main service. Like, we had a bunch of people leave, and some of them they didn't want to be in public. There were all kinds of reasons it happened. But we had no one to run the audio visual stuff for the live stream, and so kids volunteered, and sometimes their parents volunteered them. And so all of a sudden,
voluntold.
all of a sudden, this involvement that had not been taking place among adolescents started to happen. And we started to see ways to help kids get involved in all kind of different ways, helping in the nursery, and I think it's been a wonderful thing. And I think it's what's required for young people to feel like they belong to the body and are a part of its work and life and worship. And we kind of just stumbled into it because of hard times. And it's been now we're trying to take those lessons and find more ways to get kids involved. And one of those ways is Vacation Sunday School, which was my daughter's idea. I can't take credit for it, wish I could, but middle school and high school kids are leaders in Vacation Sunday School. It's more like Vacation Bible School, but it happens once a Sunday. And there's kind of a rotation between rooms, and there's more games.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And it gives kids a chance to lead alongside 80-year-old Sunday school teachers who've been doing it at New City for, 50 years. And it's just been a wonderful thing to see happen. I wish I could quote our vision statement verbatim. I'm not a good memorizer. Sorry, Billy. Sorry, Kevin. But basically, what it says, our vision is a vision of people from every race and every kind of background working together to see the kingdom of God happen in our neighborhood and beyond. And Vacation Sunday School has been a picture of that. Black kids, white kids, and wealthy kids, and impoverished kids, and adults of all ages working together to make this fun and formative, wonderful thing happen on Sunday mornings. It's been great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think as far as doing good enough by me, okay, I had an intern, me and Gianna, who was my co-director when I first got here, and she's still doing that job. We had an intern, Darius Griggs, and I was sort of moving up into this, we call it NextGen, this expanded role, and looking for ways to help him grow into taking ownership of the youth director job. And, I get all these emails from the PCA, and I finally got one that really got me excited, man. I'm like, from CDM, man, I'm like, the denomination is going to train people to do youth ministry. And there's all kind of great stuff. I've had amazing amounts of world-class training in Young Life. I've been exposed to all kinds of wonderful people and ideas and models for doing ministry. But something from our denomination made sense. I knew a lot about evangelism and discipleship and an outreach sort of away from having worked with Young Life. I knew nothing about, I knew something. I'd been an elder for a while, but working on a church staff, I knew nothing about. And frankly, it had always scared me because we would do Young Life in a church, and we got in trouble a lot. I mean, we did the wrong things and broke things, and we got in trouble a bunch, and it always just made me nervous. I'm like, there's going to be too much scrutiny and too many rules. I'm never going to be able to figure out what they all are. let alone keep them. But so for me, the idea that there was going to be something that taught you how to survive within a PCA church setting sounded like a great thing. And
actually, that should be the tagline: "How to survive working at a PCA church."
or any other church, but in our context, at PCA church. And I also thought it would be good for our intern Darius, and a necessary thing for him. And I really have a belief that, Jesus sent people out 2 by 2. They offered for me to be, you guys offered for me to be Darius's mentor. And I'm like, nope, I'm not going to do that. We'll do this together, And I had really no idea what I was going to get out of it, or even what Darius would get out of it, for that matter. It was all brand new, and for you guys as well. So the first year, So, but I got to say that I have been, stunned, maybe is the word for it. Exposed to some great books, things like The Politics of Ministry, and what's that book we read about how to be in youth ministry and have a strategy and a vision? And I can't remember the title of the book. I'm sorry, I'm old.
Yeah, was that Matt Lukenbill's unit.
Matt's what was Sustainable Youth Ministry.
Yeah.
Wonderful book that it explained a lot of things, exposed to a lot of statistics, like most youth pastors only last about maybe 9 or 10 months in their jobs, which is wow.
Yeah.
But just help.
And you're probably up in the average, Pat, from 6 to 9, single-handedly, mathematically up in the average.
I'm hanging in there for the long haul, whatever that looks like. It helped me, and it was something I was straining toward, was how to think systemically and strategically, how to think strategically within the system that we were working in. And a further idea came into my head of how can we change the system that we're working in. It's a system that we all inherited. It wasn't a bad system necessarily that we were working in, but over time, some unintended consequences had occurred that made it difficult to do the job that I think we're called to, which is bringing people in from the outside and integrating them into the body life of the church as permanent, full members. We operated in silos, and there were just a lot of barriers to making those transitions happen for kids, and even more barriers to helping the kids' moms and dads and cousins come in and feel like they were a full part. All sorts of questions about what does hospitality look like when you're in America and working cross-culturally and trying to make people feel at home in the body. So the NextGen certification helped me to think through all of those things and helped me set a course for constructive change in our work with children and youth, and even their parents. So it's been great for me, and I learned more than I ever imagined that I would learn, And people just okay. So anybody who says they already know it all is
Yeah.
they may not intentionally be lying. They may think they already know it all.
They are highly inaccurate.
Yeah, it's not possible
Yeah.
to know it all, and and even when it's something you're involved with for a long time that's very, very specific, it's not possible to know everything about it. And the rate of change that's occurring means what you knew 5 years ago,
Exactly.
if you haven't changed, then you don't know what you're doing anymore. It's constant change, and the rate of it is accelerating all the time.
Which is not characteristic of the larger church or the adult church. Adult church doesn't change that much,
but it needs to.
Well, fair enough.
Because how do you accommodate the change that's coming up?
Yeah,
if adult church can't change.
Yeah.
If old dogs can't learn new tricks, then how do you make room for people
new
who
dogs
are coming up?
Yeah.
It's interesting because so this is not a legitimate goal, but this is a little bit of a fantasy of mine. When I finally hang up my squirt guns, I've always kind of fantasized about going back to Covenant and teaching youth ministry. When I get too old to do it, which probably be about 147 is what I'm hoping.
You and me both.
And one of the things I thought about that I think is difficult to teach, but I think that there's not a unit on this in the certification, but I think the process of the certification engenders this, and that is the ability to evaluate.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so the way I was inadvertently blessed by the certification, I didn't go through the certification. I taught one of the units. I don't know if I get an honorary one. Do I get an honorary certification? Because I worked on it? What's the deal? I don't know. So I'd love it if we got to the point where I was the only uncertified guy in the PCA. That'd be awesome. But my assistant went through it. It went through it with your class, Lauren. And just the mentoring process of dialoguing with her about what she was learning was so great for us, because you're talking about going through it, 2 by 2, right? I wasn't taking the class, but we were interacting with everything every month and tearing our ministry apart. I mean, not, dissecting it and saying, okay, you learned about this. What do you see in what we're doing, and how are we doing it? But in our context, in our place at this time,
right? And
how do we take what works here, or what have we not tried, or what have we forgotten about, or what have we left behind? It was great.
Yeah, the certification process definitely forces you, if you're going to actually be certified through the certification process, you really have to do that. You really have to take apart the ministry you're involved in and examine it thoroughly and make some kind of judgment and some kind of plan, some kind of strategic plan in order to proceed, or you haven't done your homework, and so yeah, I think that was the best thing about it, was being able to go through that process with what we were already doing.
And it's the bless. And again, this is where I think our partnerships work really, our staff team combinations work really, really well. Right. So I was older, a guy, my assistant was younger, and a woman, new to the ministry. So we had 2 very different perspectives that helped us dissect. And you got to do that with Darius. You guys got to interact with it differently and engage with it. I think that's really the heart of what we're trying to accomplish, is how do we do this together?
Right.
How do we see, and man, I am just so much better for it, for having just been in proximity to it, really. Laura, I've got a couple questions that I want to get into, but is there anything you want to pop in with real quick?
No.
Lauren, yeah. I couldn't hear.
No. Go ahead, Pat.
Nope, your turn.
No, I don't have anything, Matt.
Okay. What were you gonna say? Were you gonna say something, Pat?
Well, I was thinking about the conferences next, and it was this past year at the conference in Baltimore, and I think Mikey Puckett was the one who said this. There was like a panel thing that was happening on the last day.
Yeah.
And as my memory is holding it, somebody in the audience asked Mikey, if you're someone who has a hard time keeping up with the details and, doing all of that sort of administrative stuff, what resource would you recommend for someone who needs help with that? And he said, oh. And it was like he gushed over this book, How to Get Things Done.
That was me.
Was that you?
That was me.
I thought it was that. Okay. Listen, man. Well, then thank you.
I know I was me because you said the word gushed. I did. I gushed over that book. Yeah.
It was, and there were other people in the room who said, "Oh yeah, that's really great." There were other people who commented on that, and so that's something that about a month ago. It was 3 months ago. I bought the book and put it on a shelf, as I often do. and then about a month ago, it felt like it was becoming necessary. And I got it down and started reading about my life inside this book. And so that's something we're going through as a staff right now.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it's, I think it's going to really help us because with the changes that we've instituted, there's more work involved.
Right.
One of the things we're doing, I'm involved, and all of us to some degree, the degree that we're able, we're involved with little kids. We're Gianna and Darius are alternating teaching, helping to teach a 5th grade Sunday school class because they're getting those kids next year. We're all doing this vacation Sunday school thing all summer long and meeting all of these kids who are headed our way. We're taking turns helping out with the GLAD tutoring program so that we will know those kids when they get to the point of coming into 6th grade. We'll have our first crop of kids come in this summer from that program. And so more work is required. It's more complicated. It increases the amount of logistics that we all have to deal with.
Right.
And we're feeling the press of it. So how do we not, and the subtitle, doing it without, doing it stress-free. I'm like, okay, stress-free. That seems like a good goal for all of us. And I think that it will lead to that. That it'll lead to us being able not to carry all of that around in our heads all the time, which has been a little bit exhausting. So anyway, thanks for that, man. And a bunch of other great things. I'm reading, we have a new strategic plan and a new mission and vision statement at the church. And so part of my job is how do we implement the strategic plan. So I've been trying to read things about how to actually make your strategic plan go into action, And one of the things I'm like, it seems like it's hard for people to learn about new things and understand even what you're talking about with the new strategic plans. uh, and I stumbled across. I can't remember the path to it, but it's a book called The Fifth Discipline, and
Oh,
about
I've heard of that, but yeah.
oh man, and it's about why it's so hard for organizations to learn about the system that they're living in, and and because it's hard for them to take the 10,000-foot view and analyze what they're in the middle of, it's almost impossible to institute healthy change. If you're stuck in a place where you can't learn, um, then how are you going to implement a new strategic plan and bring change about if you can't figure this? So anyway, man, and I want to say all of this thinking and reading and working together for me has come out of the NextGen certification and the conferences and being given the gift of a place and a platform to think creatively about these things is what I think NextGen is. And it's a gift, and more people ought to take advantage of it. So there's my pitch,
brother,
for
thank you so much.
So,
and I we want to promote longevity, and you're the GOAT, and you're great at it, and we're so thankful for you, and even just the person, like we said, the personal privilege of getting to know you and enjoy you. But I think you've really hit the nail on the head. Like, we talk about longevity all the time. What are keys to longevity? And we talk about perseverance, and we talk about rhythms, and we talk about soul care and taking care of yourself, and all those things are important. But
yeah,
I do think that there's a massive common thread that if you still enjoy learning, still enjoy growing, if you're comfortable with the fact that you will never be 100% comfortable with what you're doing, okay, I got it now, I can relax. I think there's even a strong parallel to the idea of I'm always going to meet new kids. Like, if I'm always going to learn new things and I'm always going to meet new kids, you're never going to exhaust this ministry.
Right.
And so where I think people hit the wall is, I don't want to have to figure anything out now. I want to be settled. I want to figure it out and just do it. And it's hard to keep going because I got really close to these group of kids for 8 years, 7 years, and they're gone now. I don't know if I can do it again.
Yep. That's a familiar feeling for anybody who's been in youth ministry for more than 8 years. And I do think it's challenging, and you do have to recommit, I think.
Yeah.
But if you can fall in love with, I think being the difference between generations is a cross-cultural thing. So youth ministry is by nature cross-cultural.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because these people did not grow up in the world you grew up in. And they don't think the same. And
Lara didn't even grow up in the world we grew up in.
and it's gone. You can't go back there. You can watch Stranger Things and think, wow, this is strange. And also not really real. But there's no way to get back there. There's no way to move kids into the world that we came up in.
Nor should we try.
We have to enter their world and learn from them in order to figure out how to help them see and, I'm going to say, operate the gospel in their lives and their families that are about to happen, and their work, and all of that. So, and if you want to arrive somewhere, you're not going to be able to stay in youth ministry for sure. And I think it's a myth anyway, that it's a part of the American dream myth that you will eventually get to this place where everything is settled and you don't have to work hard anymore, and
Yes.
you understand it all, and it all just fits, and the cash is flowing in. And I don't think that really exists. And you look around and it seems like it does exist for some people, but I think it doesn't exist if you're taking up your cross and sacrificially serving and doing it cross culturally, certainly generationally, but in other ways too. I think, yeah. So, and I've forgotten what I'm talking about now, so I'll stop.
No,
And
it's so good. Matt disappeared.
I saw that,
I know.
and I was concerned because I
Hey,
sure don't know what to do, but I assume you do.
yeah, no, no, I'm just soaking everything in that you're saying. And when I was in Jackson, Mississippi, um, and we're kind of the same context as New City. Um, I want to tell you that for years I've just admired what the work that New City has done over years and years of ministry in Chattanooga, and the context that you guys are in, and the way you love the neighborhood and the city, is something I've admired for close to 14 years, when I was doing ministry in Jackson. So
Well, thank you.
I just so appreciate all the work that God is doing in and through you, but in and through New City Fellowship as well. And so truly, it's an honor. Um, oh, he said, Matt said he got booted out,
I
but
didn't do it.
yeah, no, it's like going back to the COVID days with Zoom, but truly just an honor to have you on here. But anyway, before we close with our time, is there anything else you'd love to share, or you've given outstanding resources for anyone who is listening, won the certification, and then also to the conferences, but also just the books that you've recommended as well. That will be so helpful for anyone who's been in youth ministry for a year to several years. So I appreciate that.
Yep. Well, thanks for having me. And
Absolutely.
I don't know anything else.
Yeah. Okay. Well, would you mind
Sure.
praying for us?
Sure.
Thank
I'd be
you.
glad to. Lord Jesus, thank you so much that you give us meaningful work, and that you provide through your people the resources and the wisdom that we need to grow in what you've given us to do. And Lord, that your spirit blesses the work of our hands. And Father, I thank you for the Next Gen team and for CDM and all of the work that they do, pouring into the lives of people like me, and putting us onto great resources and providing a platform where we can discuss things and work through hard things. And I want to thank you too for the friendships. I love these guys. It's wonderful to be able to be together with them at least once a year, and the relationships, even though they're long distance, Lord, they're meaningful. I know I can call these guys anytime I want to. And I thank you for Matt, Lord, for the friend that he is to me. And anyway, Father, your good gifts, the good gifts of your people. Thank you for the way you bless us with each other. And I thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Well, thank you so much, Pat. And
Yes, ma'am.
all right.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week.